Cool. So we back at it again. Um, covering this week, what is the blockchain, how to read the blockchain. Um, First and foremost, just for anybody that's a beginner in understanding this topic, the blockchain is the single technology that powers all of our cryptocurrencies. Um, every single one, they're developed on the blockchain. So we're going to be covering that topic pretty thorough today. And then I'm going to have a practical exercise where I actually show y'all how to read the blockchain, like how to understand that, how transactions are processed and how to actually see um, what's going on when you actually buy something or you transfer an asset, right? So let's get it rolling. So key objectives today, we want to understand the origin of the blockchain. What is a blockchain? How is it being used? The various use cases of the blockchain. Then, like I said, we're going to cover a practical exercise where you can see what it looks like when you send assets to another person or another wallet, or when you purchase assets. I'm also going to do a little extra and show y'all some key influencers that hold NFTs, and you can track those wallets. And that's something that I do on a regular. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. And then after that, we're gonna have a AMA where y'all can ask me anything, whether it be about the blockchain or anything crypto related, NFT related, trading related as it relates to crypto. Any of that. So let's get to it. So, like I said, the origin of the blockchain. So the blockchain technology is not a new invention. It's not something that just came about when cryptocurrency came about, right? It's been, studied and used in smaller factors since 1991, when these two researchers named Stuart Haber and W. Scott Stornetta devised the first blueprints for the technology, right? So when they did that, they utilized it in a very primitive function. So the way we use it nowadays is a lot more advanced in which we're using it with cryptocurrencies, right? But the first practical use of blockchain technology, like it says here, didn't come until 2 decades later, when we first were introduced to Bitcoin. And Satoshi Nakamoto really, like I said, he advanced the technology by utilizing it as a currency, or developing it as a currency, as we see today with the granddaddy Bitcoin when it was first introduced to the world, right? But that is the primary, that's the origin story. Like I said, it hasn't it's not a new technology. It just wasn't widely used. And I can see many reasons why it hasn't been widely used up until this point. Because primarily, and I'm gonna get into this a little deeper later, but the blockchain is transparent, and a lot of functions that we utilize in traditional finance or in the traditional world, we're not privy to seeing the inner workings of some of the things that we utilize on a daily basis, right? I don't know how to remove this thing here. Oh, there we go. So yeah, we don't have the ability to, or the insight to see the inner workings of some of the most widely things that we use. Like when we go to a bank, for instance, we don't have the ability to see what happens to our assets or our money when we put it in the bank. We're not privy to that information. But with the blockchain, you can track every single penny, or if you want to say, you can track everything. Once you upload it onto the blockchain, you can track every asset from its origin to where you send it to the net, from where that wallet sends it to the next place. So I could see why it has been limited in its use, um, strictly because people are institutions kind of want to hide that information from their their customers or their members or have it may be. And it doesn't always have to deal with banking or currency, which we're gonna get into a little bit more also. But let's keep rolling. So, what is a blockchain? The simplest term that I can tell you what a blockchain is, it is a ledger, right? Like you see here to your left, this is a ledger, but this is like most primitive version. Like you can get even more simple than that, where you just kind of write it in on the notebook yourself. But it gives you information relating to transactions that you make, whether it be a payment, deposit, but it gives you information relating to how you're spending and like I said, it doesn't have to necessarily be about money, but it shows you in some degree like a chain of custody, if you will. Like that's not completely the correct answer, but it gives you like a chain of custody of how specific items are moved from one place to the next or transferred or bought or sold, and you annotate it on a document like this. That is the simplest idea of a blockchain. But when you have a blockchain, it's slightly more advanced than just a digital ledger, right? This is, like I said here, this will be what a physical ledger will look like if you wrote it down to my left. But a blockchain is a form of a digital ledger or distributed ledger technology, right? But it's all digitized, right? But like it says here, blockchain is a way to record information that makes it hard or impossible to change, hack, or cheat the system. And the reason that is because everything is transparent. Soon as you upload or you interact with the blockchain, it is visible by everyone that has preview to that system or internet to have access to view those things on the blockchain, right? So everything is transparent. And a saying that I like to say relating to the blockchain is that, and the power in which it holds is, and I relate it to the early developments of the internet, the way that we see it now. Like now we see the internet and we say, the internet, um, it made the world smaller. Now, the impact that the blockchain will have to the world, it will make the world transparent. It'll allow you to lift up, you know, the sheet and see behind the curtains and see what's really going on in the world, whether it be through finance or tracking anything, literally anything. Using blockchain technology will give you great insight on how things truly maneuver, and that gives a benefit to the people. It's not so much great for institutions at times because, like I said, it's transparent. Some things they tend to want to hide or keep away um, from the people or their members or their customers because they feel like that information is private. But and like I said in the beginning, I believe that's why blockchain technology hasn't been adopted at an extreme rate because, every company doesn't want their information, their transfers, transactions, and everything being public for anybody to see, right? And then, like it says here, blockchain is basically a digital ledger. I mentioned that of transactions that is duplicated and spread across the entire network of computer systems. So, unlike a centralized entity like a bank, when you deposit your money into a bank, right, there's a singular entity that controls those assets. Like those assets, you may have chains of banks, but there's a single entity that has that data that allows you to understand what's going on within that bank, right? But when you upload assets to the blockchain, to a blockchain, those assets and the data relating to those assets is distributed across a network of nodes or a network of various computer systems that track and validate those assets and the transactions that they that they use or they do instantaneously, constantly. So it's not you're not subject to one single point of failure of not an institution, but a single entity that could potentially go down. Like you have all these other interconnected systems that give you, validation that what's being processed on the blockchain is valid. Like it is the truth, right? So I was just checking the chat. So, but that is the gist of a blockchain. Does that make sense? And if it doesn't, like I'm gonna try to get into it more. But if you have a question specifically, go ahead and ask that question, whether it be in the chat or unmute yourself. But we're gonna get into it a little bit more deeper than this too. I'm gonna read this last thing. So, like it says here, blockchain is a type of distributed ledger technology where transactions are recorded with an immutable cryptographic signature called a hash. So yeah, I mentioned that briefly. It's recorded with actually I did not mention that, but it is a type of DLT or distributed ledger technology where transactions are recorded with the immutable cryptographic signature called a hash. So everything that's being like I said, everything that's uploaded on to a blockchain is validated by all these various nodes that confirm all of these transactions. And they do that through immutable cryptographic signature called a hash, right? But that's a little bit more technical, but just understand that there's not one single entity that controls or like really confirms transactions or movements on the actual chain. So just keep that in mind. All right. So these are some, not all, but some use cases that I'm going to cover relating to the blockchain, right? You have, like I said, you have here banking and finance. You have the potential of using voting. Like it's been done before. It's not widely used, but this is one way, like it just said on that last slide, you have the ability to have immutable transactions. Like you can't, I ain't gonna say you can't. There's likely a way where you can do something fraudulent to a blockchain, but it will likely require a significant amount of computing power, or it's going to require some other element to introduce fraud onto the blockchain, like a smart contract or something like that, right? But it would require some type of intervention to do that, right? But voting could be utilized where we don't have to deal with so many, so many different times where we hear about fraud in the voting systems, or like, my votes weren't counted, or this whole entire city votes weren't counted, or they threw away vote. Like the blockchain could, solve that issue. And then we go into healthcare. Like the blockchain, like I noticed specifically in the military, and it didn't happen so much in my later years in the military, but in my early years, I would always hear about people like the medical facilities losing their medical records, or like for a lot of veterans, medical records were being lost like constantly, or them losing their medical records and them not having a place to go to retrieve those medical records. So healthcare is like significant way that the blockchain could be used. Then we have property records, smart contracts, and supply chains. We're gonna get into each one of these in more detail. But these are just some of the use cases. Like there's a ton. Like I truly believe that And I tell this to everybody that have like children and they're trying to guide them into a particular sector for their like adulthood that they can look into, that's going to be very prominent um, in years to come. Like learning about the blockchain and what it's capable of doing is going to be major in the years to come. Because I I foresee.
How major?
Oh, there go my brother. What's up, man?
What's popping? How major is that gonna be? Like, can you get a job out of that? Do you think they're gonna be hiring for
Man,
people?
they already hired, and you practically can name your own number,
Facts.
really. So, um, man, Moody, what's up, bro? You just made my day. I thought I was gonna be in here solo dolo.
Nah, bro, I'm here, baby. How
Yeah,
everybody? You know I got your back, bro. Come on now.
yeah, nah, I appreciate it, bro. But yeah, blockchain technology is major already. A lot of these institutions are hiring, people uh, who are able to read, what I'm saying, write code to create blockchains. They're hiring them to formulate these systems already. Uh, Somebody had a question. Pam, that's my mama. I'm gonna call you my mama for now because you say when you come on here. So look, so cool. I'm interested in all those topics except voting. I'm not really into politics. Hello, except oh yeah, no, it's fine. Like so voting doesn't have to specifically be for political reasons. Like you can vote for various things. You can have a school vote and use, what I'm saying, blockchain technology. Like if you're voting for like school president, your school could create a blockchain to ensure that the kids at the school aren't, falsely, what I'm saying, doing fraud in the school to vote the person that they like the most for the president. Like I don't know, but
Yeah, voting is just like also giving you like just rights to the company, like being a shareholder of the company and being able to make decisions on the company, whether it's them to proceed on something on the project or maybe to neglect something or like not further do it anymore. So like voting is just like literally the definition of voting, just being a like this depending on because I know we're talking blockchain, right? You could have voting rights in a DAO or possibly like say a cryptocurrency if you own a certain amount of that cryptocurrency, or it can be that you're staking your cryptocurrency so it gives you certain I wouldn't say bragging rights, but like opportunities where you can now make decisions on what goes on. Not to say that, excuse me, not to say that you may make that decision and it will happen, but you'll have that vote to be able to have access to do so.
that's a fact. And I want to tell y'all this. Moody is brilliant because he said what I was gonna say relating to a DAO. But I'm gonna get into that a little bit more when we get onto the voting slide and I'll talk about DAO. Huh?
I learned about a DAO from you, but yeah,
Yeah.
proceed.
So, but I'll tell y'all, a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization, right? And I'm gonna touch on that when we get into voting and how DAOs will be very prominent in the future. Like they have DAOs being created now trying to buy uh like sports teams. Like and a DAO is pretty much, just so you understand it, it is a group of people who pool their funds together. Like this is just a specific type. There's many different types you can create, but it's a group of people that pool their funds together to uh, you know make changes, purchase things, uh, confirm or make significant decisions relating to things, or specifically like with cryptocurrencies. Like if a cryptocurrency establishes a DAO, like the DAO can control the future of that cryptocurrency. So it's not a singular entity, like one person that's saying, like a CEO saying that, you know, all right, Shiba Inu has 200 quadrillion tokens, and I'm gonna burn half of those tokens. Now, if a DAO was established, right, a DAO could vote on that and say, yeah, we want to do that, or no, we don't want to do that. But I'm gonna touch on that a little bit more later when we hit on vote. And if I don't, y'all remind me, because I will lose track of it.
I got you, bro.
But Pam says, oh, okay, so business decision making. Thanks for clarifying, fellas. Of course, he said what you was about to say. He's something special in a good way. Not like, yeah. That's my brother, man. He know what he's talking about. So let's keep rolling though. We're gonna get into how is it being used, and I kind of touched on this just a second ago. So, like it says here, Bitcoin is a blockchain. Ethereum is a blockchain. Cardano, all of these are cryptocurrencies that are blockchains, but a blockchain doesn't have to be a cryptocurrency. And y'all can quote me on this. Like I say this all the time, that cryptocurrency to me, yeah, it's major. Like I love cryptocurrency, right? But cryptocurrency to me is the Trojan horse for blockchain technology. Like it's just introducing the world to the potential of what you can do with the blockchain, right? But the blockchain doesn't have to be you utilizing a currency. Like it doesn't have to be that. Like I mentioned before, you could use a blockchain for voting. That doesn't require money. Like that doesn't require you to actually, you know, create a asset or a currency, right? Or the same with tracking medical records. It doesn't require any of that, right? But then also I say here, all right, a blockchain can store information for other transactions also, like I just said. Like it says, Walmart, Pfizer, AIG, Siemens, Unilever are using blockchain. IBM's Food Trust blockchain traces food products, right? So the benefit of something like that, tracing food products, like you know where a particular plague could come from. Like it says, E. coli, salmonella outbreaks. Like as you move certain foods or, you know, whatever it may be from one location to the next, you could track that on the blockchain. As it's transferred from one place to the next, say you have some bananas in South America. I don't know where bananas actually come from, but you moving bananas from South America to Florida, but you have forced. Say again.
They come from Dominican Republic and plantains. They come from Africa.
All right, cool. So we transporting some bananas from DR, but we trying to get them to Florida. But we have 3 stops we have to make prior to that. Along that route, you know, say you stop in, I don't know, we stop in Mexico City, then we stop in Miami, right? And then the last destination is Jacksonville, Florida. But at one of those, each of those locations, we annotate on the blockchain when it arrived to that location, the conditions of that location, and when it departed to the next location. Like you can annotate, not like there's systems already in place that does something like that, but they're not always immutable. You always have human interaction, right? But with the blockchain, what can occur is this. Soon as that train or whatever you utilize arrives on location, say it's scanned, right? You have a package just scanned by a human or you have a human or a machine, scans that package, it annotates it on the blockchain, and say it gets inspected, right, by that machine or a human. It's annotated on the blockchain. Okay, everything is still good with these bananas. None of them look like they have any, you know, diseases or whatever. And then as it departs, it's scanned again to let you know that it left. Like as it goes to the next location, it does the same thing. When it goes to the next location, it ends up in Jacksonville, Florida. Now you can confirm at all these locations it arrived at a location, it got inspected at the location, it departed from that location, and it went to the end location, and everything seemed fine, right? Based off of the parameters in which you were testing that product. So that's a benefit that the blockchain will provide for like a supply chain in a sense, or like it says here. Like we've went through different outbreaks of foodborne illnesses, and it took a significant amount of time to identify where they actually came from. But when you look at fruit, they typically have a sticker on there, right? And on that sticker, it may have a barcode or the brand. But if you had a barcode on there that attached that particular banana to the blockchain, you could easily identify the origin of where that thing came from and each step of the way in which it traveled. So that's one of the use cases that specifically we could identify for the blockchain. But it's going to be utilized in many, 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 many ways. But let's keep rolling. We're going to talk specifically about banking and finance, and like I said, voting. So like it says here, by integrating blockchain into banks, consumers can see their transactions. Like I mentioned that earlier, right? That's the issue that I see why banks haven't, like, they know this technology has been around. And if I do enough research, maybe some banks have looked into it, but for the most part, they likely don't want to utilize it because it's so transparent. It lifts up that curtain. You know what I'm saying? It lifts that curtain up, and you can see behind the scenes and see that as soon as you deposit your money, you deposit $100,000 in the bank. Soon as it's deposited, they done took it and they trading in the foreign exchange market. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever they're doing. Like with the blockchain, you can see that. You can see why when you go to a bank and you say, all right, I want to take out $500,000. Like they're going to give you red tape. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to go through some red tape to get that money out there. With the blockchain, like depending on the blockchain that you utilize, like you're going to get that the same day. You're going to get that within the latest a few hours, the latest, right? But it's practically instantaneous. So what it does for banks, or I'll say what it does for people who utilize banks, is it cuts down that transaction time, but then it also not only cuts down that transaction time, it cuts down on the transaction cost. So when you cutting out things of that nature, like
just think about sending $5 billion right now and cutting that cost. That's what makes me like really intrigued into like what D'Angelo's talking about in the blockchain, and why the government will do whatever they can, like with XRP, and take their technology, right? That's why I feel like that they're in that lawsuit. They're not in that lawsuit because of what they're doing or whatever. The government will try to find anything or any illegal activities that you have done when they want what you have. You know what I'm saying? Hint with Mark Zuckerberg and everything with Facebook, when Facebook first came out and things of that nature, right? But like what D'Angelo's speaking on is very, very. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. This way. Come on now.
Don't get lost.
Yeah, right. But long story short, just think about these companies that we're trading in the stock market: Tesla, Amazon, Google, Bank of America. All these companies and institutions or hedge funds, do you think that they're not going to want to cooperate and move in their money and not being taxed at a high rate? And they're already investing their money and keeping it. They're just rotating it in different sectors. So this is going to be a huge opportunity for them. And that's why you see like PayPal integrating with cryptocurrency. Yeah, they may say cryptocurrency, but it's a blockchain technology that they're going after. But my bad, bro. I was not trying to interrupt. I just had to talk.
You good, bro. I appreciate it. So think about Webull. When you trade on Webull and or any of these brokerages, when you trade on a cash account or whatever it may be, like imagine if they use a blockchain. If they utilize a blockchain, your funds will settle that same day. You wouldn't have to wait 2-3 days for your funds to settle. And that would eliminate you having to add more money because now because you can't trade with that money that you see that's yours that you made, but it hasn't, fully it hasn't fully like confirmed in their systems. If they utilize a blockchain, that would eliminate any of those issues. Like there wouldn't be an issue of understanding, I mean, not understanding, but confirming these transactions and it taking days. Like we deal with it now because that's all we know. But when you get further into this space relating to cryptocurrency, like I borrow against my assets or I take loans out on my assets. I could take a loan out on my assets right now and I can get that loan right now, right? If I go and try to take a loan out on assets or just take a loan out, period, it's going to take some days minimum. Like I could get confirmation about a loan in 10 minutes, but they won't give me the money or access to that money at minimum for days. Like I've taken a loan out before and it's taken a week or two. You know what I'm saying? But on the blockchain, like I just said, I borrow against my crypto assets and I take a loan out on those assets and I can get those out immediately. Like the moment I push the button, the transaction processes, it'll be in my wallet immediately. So that is the power of the blockchain. And like I said, the people, as they like I'm telling y'all about this now, but the people will force institutions to adopt in this because they won't settle for, yeah, it'll be like 3-4 days till you get your money. Nah, I'm just gonna go work with this company that's utilizing blockchain technology. And then it's gonna force them to adopt this as we get more smart on the subject matter, right? But that's how it relates to banking and finance, right? But now, like we mentioned before, you have the ability of it being a use case for voting, right? Like I said, it gives you immutable transactions. Like these transactions can't be, like you can't go and vote on the blockchain. And for one, the moment that you vote, that transaction can be seen by everybody that has access to view that blockchain. Like the moment that I walk up to the voting system and I say, yeah, I want to vote for this person. Soon as it hits and it confirms, it's going to be viewable on the blockchain. And it can't be changed after that. Nobody can go in there and change it. Now, the only way that you can change specific things that relates on the blockchain, and even if you do it, it's still transparent. The only way that you can change things that are on the blockchain is if you intrude or you bring in a different element like a smart contract. And you bring in a smart contract that converts the coding or the initial, that takes that initial transaction or that initial asset or whatever it is, that initial vote, and convert it into something else. But if you don't utilize that in a voting mechanism on the blockchain, then you have nothing to worry about. What you put in is the same thing that's going to be on the other end when they calculate all the votes. So it prevents election fraud. And like it says here, it could potentially boost voter turnout because they believe or they feel like, yeah, this blockchain technology can confirm what I'm doing. Like a lot of people in the last election, previous elections, they felt like, their votes weren't being counted or the votes weren't counted or the votes were changed. Like I heard all the different stories, but with the implementation of blockchain technology, you don't have to worry about that. Because like I said, soon as you hit it's gonna be viewable on the blockchain. You know what I'm saying? And if you have access to view what's on the blockchain, soon as you push the button and say, I'm voting for this person, you can likely look on your phone and say, yep, there go my vote. That is my address that I voted from. But bam, like it'll also make it even more convenient to where you don't necessarily have to vote in person. Like you can literally vote from your mobile phone. And now that could be that can cause fraud because then anybody can, hey, let me borrow your phone. I'm gonna vote for you. All right, here you go, whatever. Now that could be fraudulent. But as far as like the function of the blockchain, you can't defraud the blockchain unless you introduce something that's a different element that's not natural to the or standard for a standard blockchain. I think I covered all this here. Like I said here, this would eliminate recounts and concerns about election fraud. Like, hey, like I mentioned earlier, and I'm personally, you know, I can't tell my children what they should be when they grow up, but I know this space is going to be very prominent in the future. Like I've been studying it now for some time. Like I was only, you know, very interested into the cryptocurrencies, but the underlying technology is so powerful and will be that it will overshadow, you know, the things that cryptocurrency is doing right now. Yeah, cryptocurrency will, in my opinion, will be widely used as it's adopted in the future. Like it's going to be very widely used. Like it will be, if not the currency, it will be one of the prominent currencies being utilized globally, right? But even with that, like with that growth and that adoption and that powerful sentiment relating to crypto, I believe the underlying technology will do so many more things. And it will be like a very valuable sector going forward. Let's keep rolling. Healthcare. I mentioned this earlier. And it says it right here, blockchain technology can be used by healthcare providers to securely store patients' medical records. Like there's so many people out there, like I mentioned earlier, I'm a veteran myself. And when I was in the military, early on, you have younger soldiers that would, you know, lose their medical records. And now they got to get a brand new, and they have systems in place where you can retrieve medical records, but those systems also always have a human interaction that could potentially cause, you know, someone losing a valuable item, you know what I'm saying? Like a medical record. Those items, when you get outside, when you leave the military, like when
Hey,
you're
bro,
looking.
You sound like you want, my bad, I know I just threw off your train of thought. You sound like you want robots to take our jobs, bro.
I ain't saying all that, but I'm not saying. But look.
Nah, it was when you was taking my mind.
Look, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I ain't trying to sound like that because I'm not pro robot. I'm pro people. I'm pro human.
Everybody that's at the front desk right now was like, blockchain technology coming for my job.
Hey, but the reality of the matter is that's why you have to understand it. So you know how to place yourself to best utilize it to make it work for you. Right?
Yeah.
Because it's really inevitable. Like we're seeing it. Like I know I get an ad on my phone every day, whether I'm on TikTok, Instagram, one of these social media platforms, and they show me the little robot telling me invest in this startup. This robot is sitting there cooking fries. Like I'm already understanding. Like the fry man at these restaurants is going to be obsolete at some point. So a lot of these jobs that we have, they will be, you know, solely run by robots. Like we can't really get around it, because these institutions are going to pay the money to have a robot do your job versus you, because this robot doesn't have any, this robot ain't got kids that they got to go pick up. This robot don't get sick. Long as I maintain this robot, like it's going to work for me.
Don't need to take no breaks.
Right. You know what I'm saying? This robot is not going to burn my fries if I put it on a timer. It's going to come out the same. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be very difficult to move around these sectors that are going to be taking our jobs anyway. So like I said, I'm not pro robot. You know what I'm saying? I'm not pro. I am.
Nah, bro. I was just making a joke, bro. But what you're saying is 100% true. Like you could take it from the smallest things that we have in life, like the smallest aspects of what a robot does for us now. Of course, you can just go straight into talking about the iPhone, right? And the technology that it provides. And it's a smartphone that either makes your intellect smarter and smarter, or it makes you dumber and dumber, right? Like, and when I say that, it's like, say, if you be like, oh, what's blockchain technology? And then be like, man, I don't know, man, whatever. But you got a smartphone in your hand and you ain't just Google it, the smartphone is going to take away your intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Because it's dumbing you down. Like, we all go to our calculator back then. You know what I'm saying? I'm a 90s baby. I used to take out a pencil and paper. You know what I'm saying? And do my work that way. But, like, when I say go to the smallest aspects of life, like, you could go to, like, cleaning. You know, they got an iRobot that rides around in your house and picks up your trash for you, right? So not everybody utilizes it, but a lot of people do utilize it, right? But that's just showing you how that's a chore that you do for yourself. You may not think about it this way, but I can't even be going into deep, my bad, but I'm going to say it and then I'm going to be off of it. But that's taking away certain things that help you be successful, because you may not think about it, but when you clean your room or you make your bed, you're setting yourself up for success, and you feel clean, you feel godly, you feel great. You know what I'm saying? You're exploding dopamine. So while you have a robot doing it for you, I'm saying you just fall into lower vibrations if you're already on a lower vibration, because you're not understanding how to get up and just do things for yourself. Even waking up in the morning and brushing your teeth, that's doing something for your mind already. But my bad, I ain't mean to go there. But nah, I ain't pro robot neither. Robots can have whatever jobs they want. Whatever, I don't know.
I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate the input. I ain't gonna lie, I would like a robot to make my bed. I'll be having an issue sometimes. I roll out of bed and I'm be trying to do too much early. I'll be trying to do too much early. I look back, I'm like, dang, I ain't make my bed today. But yeah.
Dang, bro.
But I feel you, bro. But I'm gonna keep rolling. So like it says here, an electronic medical record can be written into the blockchain to provide proof and confidence that that medical record cannot be altered. Like, that is major. Like, you've heard of stories, you may have heard of stories of, you know, people fraudulently adding stuff to medical records, or fraudulently changing the wording or verbiage relating to people's medical record. Like, I've not particularly heard this like widely, but if you're in the medical field, like, some people may experience that, or they've seen that, you know, and it's very prominent, right? So, but with blockchain technology, like I said, it's immutable. When you record something to the blockchain, like, no human interaction can come and say, all right, yeah, let me erase that. Yeah, let me, yeah, I know he said I could get, you know, 500 pills of these Percocets, but I want 2,000 over the next, you know what I'm saying? You can't do that on the blockchain. When it's recorded on the blockchain, it prevents a lot of fraudulent activity. You know, so, but
put a lot of you guys out of business. Let me go here.
Stupid, man. But like I said here, for example, a private key could be encoded and stored on the blockchain so that only certain individuals could access these records to ensure privacy. And that's just a, you know, an added element to provide security, so people can only specific people can have access to those records to access and edit on the blockchain. But let's keep it moving. Property records. This was a little bit wordy, but I'm gonna touch on it. So, property records. If you ever visited your local recorder's office, like if you going to buy property, real estate, whatever it may be, it can be very tedious. It can be very like you gonna sign like 1 million documents, and this person come bring you another stack of documents, and you know it can be very time consuming, right? But like it says here, physical deeds must be delivered to a government employee at the local recording office where they are manually entered into the county central. There's a lot of steps. There's a lot of steps that has to be done. But when you have the blockchain, like you can cut out a lot of these steps to where once you say you go to purchase property, right? And the only requirement that you may have is I need to put your down payment. Say you pay your down payment. It's recorded on the blockchain, right? That's one thing that you have to do for the next step to unlock, right? Or something like that. You make a down payment. Say they require earnest money. I forget I ain't made no real estate or property transaction in a while, so y'all bear with me. I could be completely wrong with these terms. But say you have to deposit earnest money, or you have to do your initial walkthrough. Like all of these need to be recorded on a blockchain to unlock your ability to go to the next step. But if you did all these things on the blockchain, like it wouldn't require, you know, all these other people in these other offices to come and say, okay, yeah, you did this, now sign here. Okay, yeah, you did this, now sign here. Okay, you paid this. All right, here's your receipt, now sign here. No, if you do all these things on the blockchain, you have layers that will then unlock and then continuously unlock and continuously unlock until you actually have ownership of that property that you were trying to attain. Does that make sense? If it don't, drop it in the chat. Oh, incredible hope. I think you talking about the earnest money, usually 2%. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So I know a little bit of something. I ain't no expert, but I know a little bit. But yeah, just that's the gist of it. When you dealing with, you know, attaining records relating to property that you're trying to attain ownership of, right? But there's many steps that you have to go through, and then there's many steps that your realtor or the deeds office, the recorder's office, that they have to do in order to make the process occur. But if you had a blockchain, it could be systematically improved because it requires less human interaction. Like it, and like I said before, like I'm not completely trying to cut out humans in this case, but a lot of times, you know, when you're dealing with systems that requires human interaction, you're dealing with, all right, I only operate during these hours. I only operate during these business days. I don't operate on holidays. When you interact on the blockchain, if you go achieve something, this thing is open 24 hours a day. That's why Bitcoin, that's why cryptocurrency is tradable 24 hours, because there's no single entity that's going to come and say, all right, yeah, we cutting the lights off. Yeah, we'll come back on Monday at 9 a.m. and, you know, we can start trading again. There's no single entity that controls these assets. So that's why you continuously trade with them. As it relates to this, if you achieve something on the holiday, say you go do your initial walkthrough for a property, and that was the one of the steps that allowed you to, or I'll take that back. Let me backtrack. Say you put your earnest money down, your initial deposit, and that was the one of the steps that required you to gain access to get the keys to do your initial walkthrough. All that can be done on the blockchain, and you can do that at any point in time. You know what I'm saying? And it's recorded to confirm that the individuals, the parties that are involved, that are doing these things, as they complete these steps, they can go to the next step. It doesn't require somebody or wait until Monday morning at 9 a.m. when the recorder's office comes available, or the deeds office, or whoever comes available to assist you to keep the process ongoing. The blockchain don't require any of that. But that's the gist of it relating to property and records. I ain't want to read all this, but I just wanted to give y'all an idea of how it eliminates the need for so many delays and people. And if you bought property before, you know, it can be very tedious, especially in today's market or the past year or two market. Like, it's very difficult to purchase property without having to outbid people. Like, it's a lot. It could be a mess. It's getting better though. So, smart contracts and supply chain, these are other use cases. So like I mentioned, when you integrate or you bring in smart contracts onto the blockchain, that's when you start to have, and this kind of starts to talk about what I was just saying relating to property on the smart contracts. I'm gonna read some of that. But when you start to integrate smart contracts, that's where you start to have vulnerabilities. And I've seen that personally so many times, where you do have an element of human interaction, and that's where you have so many times where, you know, some of you may have experienced this, where you got into one of those meme tokens, and you know, you put in $100 and this thing run up and they say you got $10,000, and you try to withdraw, and you know, say the first time you withdraw, say you withdrawed $1,000, and now you still got $9,000, right? Say then after you then took your $1,000 out, it go up some more. Now you at $20,000, right? Off of just $100, and now you try to withdraw again, and now it's giving you failure or error messages and stuff like that. That's because these smart contracts allow some form of human interaction that allows them to manipulate that contract on the blockchain, which then could cause issues for the people who are participating with that smart contract, right? So that is the only element, or one of the only elements of the blockchain that can cause things to not be as they seem, or as they are, or as they should be. And that's because you have human interaction. You have people who are greedy. You have people who are trying to exploit vulnerable people. You have people who are trying to exploit you on a daily basis. But when you implement these smart contracts, you have issues like that. But let's read this here. This is for an example. So a tenant wants to rent an apartment using a smart contract. For example, the landlord gives the tenant the door code once the security deposit is paid, right? Both the tenant and the landlord will send their portions of the deal to the smart contract, which could automatically exchange the door code for the security deposit. Like, that's a beautiful thing. Like, a match. All right. When the lease begins, if the landlord doesn't provide the door code by the lease date, the smart contract refunds the deposit. This would eliminate notary fees, third party mediator fees, and attorney fees. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I don't like wasting people's time. I don't like wasting my time. Like that's one thing that, and I say this all the time. That's one thing that really bothers me is when somebody wastes my time. So if I have a way to prevent wasting anybody's time and utilizing a blockchain, like I'm gonna do it. But let's move on to supply chain. Like we kind of covered this earlier when I was talking about moving those bananas. So I'm not gonna go into this deeply, but you can.
100% with, I agree 100%, bro, with what you just said. With like utilizing blockchain, also to not be wasting anybody's time and things of that nature. Definitely, bro.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it cuts out a lot of time constraints. Like I know people have had many. There's been many people where I know I've been in a position where, you know, I had to rely on, you know, somebody else for, you know, for a very like sensitive situation that was very like time, like I had a very short time window on. And if I hadn't got that person to provide what they needed to provide, it may have not happened. But when you do stuff on the blockchain, like I wouldn't have had the issue. You know what I'm saying? When I look back on it, I wouldn't have had the issue. But like I said, with the supply chain, I gave an example earlier when we moved the bananas from Dominican Republic up to Jacksonville, Florida. Like you can record the origin location using, say, like I said, these bananas had stickers on them that had a barcode. That barcode attached each banana or a box of bananas to the blockchain, and it records every stop that they made, the conditions of that location, the conditions of that item that's being transported, and the time in which they arrived and departed to the next location. So when they arrived at their last location, you can view or you can read the blockchain and say, okay, you know, I got all of things that I ordered, right? They came in the condition that I requested, and they were on time every time, and they left on time every time. Like you'll have confirmation of that that requires very little interaction with anybody that could cause a delay or cause that asset to be changed somehow, right? So that, and I mean, I went over that a little bit earlier, but I hope y'all understand the concept of that. I think I missed this here. Oh yeah, I missed this from Pam. She said, like I feel like I would prefer if robots took the boring or dirty or dangerous jobs people don't want to do, so that people can finally start focusing on doing things we enjoy, living instead of just existing and experiencing life. Man, I love that, and that's a fact. The only thing, the only issue with that is a lot of those dangerous and dirty jobs. A lot of them they pay a little bit more than your typical job, so I think we just need to get paid more for sure. Give us shorter work weeks. How about we go down to like 3 days? Like I don't work consistently like that, but we have shorter work weeks. Let's work 3 days a week and we have, you know what I'm saying? 4 days. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. But let's keep moving.
Ooh. I agree with you, man. I agree with you. I haven't been working for some time now, but you know what I'm saying, that gives me.
I'm losing you a little bit, Moody. I'm losing you, bro. You sound like Optimus Prime.
Keep going, bro. I'm driving through the
jungle. All right. So to end that, we went through the 6 different examples in which you know, the blockchain can be utilized, right? There's many more, but those are some of the more prominent industries that I can see the blockchain being adopted very quickly. And we'd see the first utilization of it outside of cryptocurrencies. But the bottom line here, key thing is, I believe, now and going forward, like the blockchain is finally becoming the household name, you know, like it says here, thanks in no small part to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Like like I mentioned earlier, I view that cryptocurrencies are the Trojan horse for blockchain technology. They're ushering in the idea, the potential, the concept in itself. And the blockchain, the underlying technology, which is the blockchain, once people understand it even more, they're gonna like, oh, yeah, cryptocurrencies are dope. Like I'm making money off of them, or I'm losing money, however it may be. But this technology that they're utilizing, you know what I'm saying? That's something that's refreshing, that's new. That allows me to see what's going on behind the scenes, something that we haven't been privy to before now. So, but I'm not gonna read this, but I just want y'all to understand that I want to get into these practical exercises and show y'all a little bit more. Moody, you say you driving, bro, so I'm gonna do it myself. But I'm gonna do some transactions and show y'all what it looks like on the blockchain. But let's get into this here. Say it again. You driving? I got it, bro. So what I'm gonna do is, what I'm gonna do is this. So just to give y'all some insight, myself and Moody, we're senior advisors for a project on the Stellar blockchain called Nafulo. So I'm gonna show y'all what it looks like on the blockchain when you transact on the blockchain, when you send an asset on the blockchain, what it looks like, behind the scenes under that curtain. So let's click on, actually, I think I have it pulled up already. Nope, go back.
Oh, that's gonna be fire. That's gonna be dope. You trying to give people the insight.
So there's various websites where you can see these different blockchains. Like right here on the Stellar blockchain, you have, like, I'm using Scopely. I believe Scopely is one of the better, like, on the eyes when you're looking at transactions on the blockchain. But on Ethereum, you're gonna be using Etherscan or something like that. What is up with this website? Oh, okay, let me click on it. So yeah, this is Nafulo. This is the asset, like I said, that myself and Moody, we're senior advisors of. But on Ethereum, you have the blockchain that you read. It's called, or the website is called Etherscan. On the BNB chain, you have the BSC scan, and all the other blockchains have theirs also. But let's check this out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send some random person some Nafulo. Actually, yeah. Oh, Moody, nah, you driving. I'm not gonna do that.
Well, what you mean, bro?
So I'm gonna send. Let me scroll down. I'm gonna describe the website too while I'm going. So like I mentioned here on the blockchain, you can see the price of Nafulo, which this price is what it would be in the if it was compared to XLM, which XLM is the currency, the primary token or the native token that's on the Stellar blockchain, right? But then you can also see the price here of what Nafulo will be in dollars. You can see how much the price has changed in Nafulo in the last 24 hours is down 0.28%. You can see the amount of volume it's had, which is very little today. You can see the market cap. Like I preach about the cheap, understanding the value of market cap versus what the price value is. Like you look at the price value of Nafulo in dollars is 4 zeros on the right of the decimal, 204. Like that looks extremely cheap. But if you go look at Shiba Inu, they probably around the same price value. But Nafulo is probably 1,000 times cheaper than Shiba Inu, right? You could also see on the blockchain how many people actually hold Nafulo, which is almost 1,500 holders. Then you can actually see the website that take you to nafulo.com. And then this here, if y'all can see my mouse, this is the order book, right? An order book, it shows you all of the pending transactions that that people have placed to either buy or sell. So everything on the left of this order book are transactions that are pending because you don't have someone in place to sell at these levels. So they're pending on the buy side, right? And on all the way up into here. And then on the right side, as you scroll down, you see all the sell orders. So these are all the orders that are pending to be sold, right? And then here you can see all of the transactions that under trades. You can see all the transactions that happened today. It may go back. Yeah, this is the last 24 hours. So in the last 24 hours, you see all the sales, which the sales are in red, and then the buys are in green, right? You can see the quantity here. But what I'm gonna show y'all is down here. So matter of fact, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna buy some Nafulo, right? And I'm gonna show y'all how it populates up here. But then you also have all these different tabs here. You have the trades, payments. Payments will be like if I transferred an asset to another wallet instead of me buying another assets. That's what payments mean. And like I mentioned before, it's like almost 1,500 wallet holders. And you can see the breakdown of how much each wallet holds, right? This is what I mean by the blockchain is transparent. So if I know what your wallet address is, I know exactly what you hold in that wallet. That's why I always tell you, don't disclose the quantity of your holdings, no matter what asset that you hold, because in the future, that is going to be reason for people who are criminals to, exploit you, whether they trying to rob you or they're trying to do a white collar crime and use a phishing attack. You know what I'm saying? So never disclose what your holdings are. And if you can prevent it, do not disclose your wallet address to people that you don't like, to people that you can't trust. Like, don't disclose that to just anybody. Now I'm gonna show y'all my wallet address on here, and it really doesn't bother me because it's not my primary wallet. But like I said, you can see everything on the blockchain. These are all the holders of Nafulo and the quantity in which they hold, right? And the quantity by number and then by percentage here of how much of the market each wallet holds. But let me get into the transaction. Let me buy some Nafu. And let's see. Y'all can't see this because I'm doing it on my phone. But yeah, I just want to show y'all how it populates on the blockchain. So, all right, I hit buy. And I'm gonna click back on trades. And bam, it already populated. It hasn't even uploaded on my phone to confirm, but it populated here. So you see GCKE DO2T, that's my wallet. And I purchased 5,605.38 blah 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 Nafu for 1 XLM. And I purchased it from this wallet, which is GA6 AOI NFLA, right? They sold that to me, mind you, because I know this blockchain, and I know this what goes on with this currency because I'm a senior advisor. This wallet here, I know it is a bot because I've tracked its performances like for a very long time. So that bot sold me 5,605 Nafulo. Now we can click on this transaction. Let me see if I can. Actually, we just click on my wallet. You can see my wallet a little bit more thorough. Like I mentioned, everything on the blockchain is viewable and you can see everything that goes on. So like you see here, these are all the assets that I hold in this wallet, right? Some of them are NFTs that you can't view the image of on here, but some of them are NFTs. Some are, cryptocurrencies. But this is my wallet. And let's see what I can show y'all here. If you scan this barcode, like you could actually send me cryptocurrency, but it would have to be on the Stellar blockchain because this is a Stellar DeFi wallet that I'm using called Lobster Wallet, right? So if you scroll down, you can see here the wallet that created this address, which is likely this was probably Coinbase that created this for me. When I created this wallet, which was last year, April, the last time it was modified was today because I made that last trade, right? So you have so much information that you can see on the blockchain. Like I said, you can see in detail here the trade that I just made for 1XLM. I got 5,605 Nafulo tokens. Now I can click here and I can see this under operation. I can see this transaction in more detail, like a little bit more clearly. It says buy, like I said, Nafu sold 1XLM. The price in which I purchased it at, which was at 3 zeros to the right of the decimal, 1784. That's how much in XLM it costs for me to buy 5,605 Nafu, right? But yeah, so this is one of the more simpler blockchains to view transactions on. I'm about to show y'all on Ethereum what it looks like to view assets being transacted and moved. And I'm gonna show y'all how easily it is to see some influencers wallets. Like I track Gary V, which I'm about to show y'all. So, but this was the Stellar blockchain. And like I said, this is very, like once you get into reading the blockchain, it's very simple to read it on here in comparison to these other blockchains that I'm about to show you, like Ethereum, that has the capability of smart contracts and so many other things, right? So let's go check out Gary V's wallet. And you probably wonder, like, how did I get Gary V's wallet? So wallet address. So I actually utilize, let me go back here. I utilize this product that I purchased. It's a platform which is already embedded into our Discord server. I have a bot because I use this platform that pumps information relating to all of these influencers that I subscribe to, and it tells me what they're buying. Now, the power in that is like equivalent to getting dark orders on the stock market. So when Gary V goes and buys a particular NFT in crypto, right? When he goes to buy an NFT and it populates into this bot and it displays onto the Discord, I simply go and see what that NFT is. As soon as I see that he purchased it, immediately there's thousands of other people that have bots like this. They're going to buy from that same collection because Gary V bought it or Mark Cuban bought it, right? Or we scroll down, who else is in here? Logan Paul bought it, or Justin Bieber bought it, right? Or Steph Curry bought it, right? Or any of these influencers. So that's why I say the blockchain is transparent. So one way that I also utilize this, so many of you know I have my own NFT collection, right? And in my NFT collection, I had an NFT of Odell Beckham's famous catch, right? Excuse me, I'm about to choke over here. Right. So I had a NFT that I created that looked like that catch from Odell Beckham, right? And what I did was, because I know Odell Beckham purchased a CryptoPunk last year, I found that CryptoPunk on OpenSea. Well, I Googled the image. I did a bunch of like geeky stuff to find the image, and it connected me to that NFT on OpenSea. When I found that NFT on OpenSea, I found his wallet address. So what I did was I sent him that image, that NFT that I created, to his wallet. So now he has that, you know what I'm saying, that NFT. Now, what that can do for me, I'm just saying, y'all, give y'all some insight. If he stumbles upon that, because many people do this, but if he stumbles upon that NFT that I created and sent to him, and he's like, oh man, this is really dope. You know what I'm saying? He could in turn be like, look, I don't know who sent me this, but he could go on Twitter or whatever. This is my neat, hopeful wishing, right? He could go on Twitter and say, hey, I don't know who sent me this, blah, 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 D-Wiz, whatever. He sent me this NFT. And that could add to publicity rate relating to my collection. So like there's people that have been successful doing stuff like that. So I just gave it a try, but I'm just giving y'all insight on how I found his address. So another way is you can see on Twitter a lot of times, a lot of these people who are famous or influencers, they'll have their name as, like, I think Meek Mill has his right now. It says meekmill.eth, meaning Ethereum. So he owns the domain name for his name in Web3. So all I had to do or have to do is this, and I'm gonna see if I can do it now. If he owns it, I'm gonna show y'all before I go to show y'all a few other things. So, like I said, this is Gary V's wallet, and I just tracked his wallet address. But I'm gonna search here. I'm gonna go on OpenSea real quick, right? And because I could be wrong, but I thought I saw Meek Mill .eth. Yeah, so it's right here. So if I click on this, it's gonna take me to that name. It's gonna show me who owns it. Now, to my understanding, Meek Mill owns his own ENS name. So I click on this address, and it's gonna take me to that wallet. This is the actual wallet address. And this will show me all of the assets that Meek Mill owns. Right now, this is all he owns. He don't own a whole lot. But people are trying to buy, or he's trying to sell his name for 32 Ethereum, right? But this is how I do it. So if somebody's on Twitter, right, and they have their name named like johndoe.eth, it's too easy to come find that wallet address. Like you can look me up. You can look me up and see my wallet address, right? D-Wiz.eth, because I own my own name also. So you can pull up my assets that I own, right? And it'll go directly to my wallet. So you click on my wallet and you can see some of the assets that I own, which I own a bunch of nothing. But these are all the NFTs that I own, right? And you can see everything that's in my wallet. If somebody has a .eth address that connects them to the blockchain, you can come on OpenSea and see any of the assets that they own. Somebody had a question. Or a comment. Let me get back to the chat real quick. Practically, Dennis, practically the same thing, but you'll have more capabilities than what you have for just strictly like a DNS server, right? Because this will be like when you look at like a .eth or .sol or any of these other blockchains, like Luna had one before they collapsed, right? They had a TNS server, right? But these would act in the same way that they would act in the same way as like because you'll utilize these like in the metaverse. This is like a digital representation of you. So like if you go on ENS or Ethereum naming service, like you can't go in there and buy like Walmart and all these major brands because they've already like, for one, they've already likely been bought, or they're restricted from being purchased because these major brands have like, restrictions on or regulations relating to their name or their branding. But this will identify you in a digital space, in a digital world. So that's why I did it. But somebody mentioned here, Slim says, so is it correct that every cryptocurrency coin or token lives in some sort of blockchain, even if it is not the blockchain of the particular coin token? Is this what is meant by, for example, the Ethereum platform, or we talking about tokens utilize the Ethereum blockchain or the Ethereum technology? I don't completely understand the last end of that question. So Slim, if you could unmute yourself and say it. But what I'll tell you is every cryptocurrency lives on blockchain. Like they live on some form of blockchain. So Ethereum is the blockchain, but then you have the token itself, Ethereum, which is the native token to the blockchain that operates on that blockchain. And I think somebody just unmuted. Is that
yeah,
true,
man?
Slim?
This is me. I think you just answered the whole question, but yeah, that's what I was asking. Essentially, every coin or token lives on some sort of blockchain, but there may be some coins, for instance, that is not Ethereum, but it rides the Ethereum blockchain, but it's a different type of token.
Exactly. So look, this is when me and Moody was like studying on one of these 5-hour nights that we typically go into like at least once a month, right? I was trying to explain to Moody how I would describe the blockchain as it relates to the system and not the digital ledger. Like, so when I think of it as like a chain, I view it as like the national highway system, right? So you have highways that go parallel, then you have highways that go vertical, up and down, right?
Hey, real quick, D-Wiz, I just want to chime in and say, everybody, please don't do it for yourself, but seriously, I interrupted D-Wiz just so you can repeat and start over your explanation and perception on how the system of the blockchain works. Because if you listen to the way that he explains it right now, you'll be able to truly understand the blockchain and not get confused with just all the cryptocurrencies. And you'll start to look at those cryptocurrencies as like, well, I can't show you the street right now, like little cards. But please, D-Wiz, if you could just start from the top and explain that, and everybody just pay attention. I promise you that if you don't understand what the blockchain means, that once he finishes explaining it this way, you will have a better understanding or a better grasp on what a blockchain is. My bad, bro, for interrupting.
No, you good, bro. So like I was mentioning, right? So I view the blockchain like the national highway system. If you know anything about the maps or how it correlates and the highways, how it correlates to the highways, all of the major highways that run up and down, they end in like 35. They're those odd numbers, right? So 15, 25, 35, 45, 65, I-95 here on the East Coast, right? But then you also have the ones that run horizontal, and those end in even numbers. So you have I-10, I-20, 30, 40, 50, so on and so forth. So how I identify it is this. So we're going to view, let's say Ethereum is I-35. I-35 runs straight up the middle through Texas, vertical, right? And so Ethereum, the blockchain, is I-35. There's many other, highways that interact with Ethereum, but the primary highway is I-35, and that is the Ethereum blockchain, right? All of the vehicles, all of the things that are moving on that highway, right? Those things and those moving pieces I view them, those are your assets. Those are all of the tokens. Those are all of the platforms. Those are everything that's being developed on that blockchain, constantly moving, constantly going from one location to the next. You're constantly making payments. You're constantly buying things. Everything that's moving from one point to the next on that highway is like a token. So, for instance, like Shiba Inu, it was developed on the Ethereum blockchain. So, say Shiba Inu is a 18-wheeler, one 18-wheeler. You make transactions with Shiba Inu, and it moves consistently on that I-35, right? Because it's developed on the Ethereum blockchain. But I can't really use Shiba but I'm gonna try to make this in pieces together. Because when I told Moody this, like I was in peak understanding of it. I haven't like really thought on it in a minute. But what I'll then tell you is this, right? So on the Ethereum blockchain, being I-35, you have those, you may have an access road, or you may have not an access road, but you may have like a HOV lane, or you may have like what's some other things called? I can't think of name, but you have an HOV lane that allows you to move more swiftly and faster on that highway. Those would be, and I'm going way off topic, but I'm gonna just get it to y'all. Those would be like Polygon. Polygon is built upon the Ethereum blockchain, but what it allows for is faster transactions on the Polygon network. It allows for cheaper transactions. So I view like the Polygon as an HOV lane. Yeah, it costs more to ride on there, but I'm not even factoring that in. I'm factoring in the fact that this thing is gonna move faster, and it's gonna allow me to still utilize that primary highway, which as I related to that highway being Ethereum, the blockchain. So Polygon is pretty much riding the coattail of Ethereum and its security, its decentralization, and everything to, move swiftly and as secure as possible on the blockchain. Now, but you have all these other blockchains, which will be, like I said, Ethereum is I-35. Then you have Solana. Okay, Solana is I-45. Then you have Cardano. Okay, that's I-55, and then so on and so forth. And you have freaking Terra Luna was I-95, and it's always backed up and crashes. And yeah, I live over here in Virginia, so I see that. But just a short synopsis of how I view the blockchain is that you have all of these blockchains that run parallel. They can connect with each other using side chains and bridges and stuff like that. But primarily, the assets that are developed on Ethereum, they only run on that blockchain. They only run on that highway. The only way that they can gain access to this other blockchain is another highway, another an exit that takes you to that, which will be like a bridge. And most of these bridges are exploited nowadays, just to give you some context of that. But If that makes sense to y'all, if it don't, I'll do better next time. Explain it. But when you think of blockchains, Ethereum, I-35, Cardano, I-55, Solana, I-45, what I said, and Terra Luna, I-95. I skipped some 95s, but understand they run parallel, but every token that's created to a specific blockchain doesn't guarantee you access to utilize it on another blockchain unless there's a bridge developed to allow that connection. I hope I ain't lose too many people with that, but I'm gonna work on it and make that better and explain it better later. But I want to show y'all. I want to show y'all some more stuff as far as how you can view, assets being, tracked on the blockchain. Like I said, like this is Gary V's wallet. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Gary V and his influence in the NFT space and just, him being him outside of crypto up until now. Like he's very prominent, very big prominent figure. But this is his wallet. Like it's actually labeled to tell you exactly who he is. But you can see every transaction, you can see how long he's had the wallet, the amount of Ethereum. He has 128 Ethereum in here, which is $148,000. Like you can see all the other crypto assets that he owned in here. You can see everything, and a lot of times you can utilize information like this to follow big money. You can follow influencers. Huh?
Nah, you beat me to it. I was just about to ask you exactly what I feel like you're about to get into, like what having access to information like this, like how can you capitalize or benefit from it? But that's what you were starting to get into.
Yeah, so having access to knowing what these influencers are doing is equivalent in my eyes to receiving the flow. When you receive, okay, this, like when I'm related to options trading, right? When you receive that information from that bot that says that somebody bought 1 million calls at this strike for this date, right? But when you see, like I said, it's equivalent to seeing that in the crypto space. When you see Gary V buys this particular NFT collection, like soon as he buys it, like I said, I have access to a bot. Like we all have access to the bot because I have it in the Discord server under the NFT category, right? When he buys something, that alerts everybody. Gary V just bought this collection that nobody knew anything about. Now it's finna start running up. So if you get in early enough, you're practically following big money. You following the whales, you following the influencers, you following the people that make stuff move. You know what I'm saying? But you just have to attach yourself with people who move the market. And Gary V moves the market. If he goes and buys one of my NFTs, like my NFTs will probably go to 20 Ethereum each or something, like, I don't know. But that's the benefit of having the ability to have a blockchain and know that it's transparent. So let's keep on moving. Like I said, that's Gary V's. This is, I don't know if y'all know Snoop Dogg. Well, y'all probably know Snoop Dogg is very heavy into the crypto space, NFT space. But I want to say it's him, but it's really his son. His son is really making these major moves, and he likely has a team now because he's seen how valuable this space is, and he's like exploiting it to his full potential, right? But this is his wallet. He goes by this alias of Kazomo Medici, right? Nobody knew who this was until he confirmed. He was like, I am this person. But he was buying up all these different NFTs early on last year, and then he finally revealed himself. But now everybody knows his wallet. So if he goes to buy something, the same thing happens. Everybody start buying it also because of his influence. And then I think I got Steph Curry here too. So we're gonna scroll down, and I could show you. I should be able to show you some NFTs. So a lot of these NFTs, you can see that people just kind of sent him NFTs, right? Kind of what I did to Odell Beckham. Like, it's Odell Beckham. I found his wallet address, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna send him this NFT of him, and maybe he'll like it. But you can actually come and see or view that NFT that was either sent to him or this. You can't see this one. Let me go back. Let's go to. Let me get it to roll back up. Okay, let's go to this one. It says it comes from Gary V, right? It's a crypto punk. So, nah, this probably a fake one. This can't be real. I don't think this real. I say the last time it was bought was for $2.17. I don't think that's real. But you can view all this, everything, every transaction, every move on the blockchain. But this is a NFT that Steph Curry owns, right? So let me see. And I want to show y'all the actual stuff here. So like this is Steph Curry's wallet on OpenSea. Like he got some dope stuff in here. He got this Bored Ape in the metaverse. Some of this stuff he likely got sent to him, but like he got this sneaker here. I didn't even know he had these, but this is like a representation of his sneakers as an NFT. He got some dope stuff in here. So I don't know if it's him that's very active or he got a team that buys NFTs for him, but like these are the Bored Ape Yacht Club metaverse lands here, and he has 2 of them. So he may not he ain't spend a pretty penny in comparison to what he makes, but yeah, this is the NFT that I was able to really track him off of because I knew he owned this NFT, which is a mutant ape from the Mutant Ape Yacht Club, from Bored Ape Yacht Club. So once I knew that he owned this, I just looked up the image and I could find his wallet address. Like I told you, that's what I did with Odell Beckham. He owns a Bored Ape also. Somebody trying to lowball him and buy it for $160. They are insane. He owns a Bored Ape kennel club. Like
you can land and create opportunities and relationships doing that as well, right? Just thinking of like you sending the NFT to OD Beckham and like what if he liked it or something of that nature, right? You had a couple of more in your collection of that, and he went and just picked it up, and that also creates FOMO and now scarcity, right? Because a celebrity or entertainer owns it, and a lot of other people are gonna want to own it as well.
Yeah, that's a fact, Moody. So like, yeah, he owns some stuff in here I hadn't seen. Like, I don't know what these Rumble Kong League 6 sneakers. They look like some Jordan. Them look like some 9s. I think they 9s. Some fake knockoff 9s. But I had never heard of this Rumble Kong League. I'm gonna look into these because I've never heard those. But yeah, these are the benefits of being able to read the blockchain and how you can exploit opportunities by understanding what these prominent influencers are doing on the blockchain. And like I said, I mentioned before, I showed y'all how I actually did a transaction and how quickly it populated. You seen how much I actually purchased. You saw how much it cost. You got all the details relating to it. Like, I'm a geek about this stuff because like I said, all the things that I told y'all relating to in the slideshow as far as the blockchain goes and the benefits that you could get from it and what it can provide for the world. So I want to close all of this here, but I do want to go into. Give me a second. I do want to go into the AMA portion of this and kind of get some questions from y'all. It doesn't have to relate to. It doesn't have to relate to anything that we talked about as far as like blockchain, but anything crypto related. Like y'all run the questions. If y'all don't have questions, like we'll close out the class here. But yeah, I want to answer any questions while we have time. And it doesn't have to be on this topic. Like I can drop them in the chat. Y'all can ask them, unmute yourselves and ask them here. But I still got some time, so I'm here for y'all. And like I said, if y'all don't have anything, then we'll close it out. And we will do this thing again on next Monday at 9 p.m. But yeah, so do any of y'all have any questions? Anything. Okay. So it don't sound like we do. And if y'all do, if y'all can't speak about it now, if it comes later, like feel free to DM me or send a message in the chat. I'll get back with you in there. But as we close out, I'd ask y'all to, drop some feedback for me in the general chat. Let me know how the class went. If y'all learned anything, does the blockchain like interest you beyond what you already knew or that you did know? And yeah, just give me some feedback, good, bad, indifferent. It doesn't matter. Like I'm just trying to improve and provide information to y'all and best topics like to provide information as it relates to cryptocurrency and or NFTs or anything in this space that we deal with. So but thank y'all. I truly appreciate y'all being on.
Got some feedback, bro. You want some of my feedback? I said I got some feedback for you.
Yeah, give me that.
This class was very informational, educational. I learned a lot from it. I always learn when you talk about cryptocurrency. I appreciate everything you continue to do for MSC and just your own growth, right? Because you growing allow us to grow because you share that with us. So I'm truly thankful, bro. And I'll always be indebted to you, man, for everything you've always taught me. Yeah, bro, keep killing these classes. But I think that this class was very, very important, just like all the classes that you do, but just understanding like what the blockchain is and not, straying away from it and, maybe calling it dumb or things of that nature. And it's just our own ignorance. So I just really appreciate the time that you take out to, acknowledge all of us in the cryptocurrency space and what's going on and not being afraid of, cryptocurrency maybe going down and still being, a servant and just giving us that information and the information that we need to know to be able to arm ourselves and, use it as a tool to be successful in this space. So hats off to you, bro, and truly appreciate you, man. The marathon shall always continue when you're speaking, bro. And I just, flowers to you, bro. And I really appreciate you.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you too, bro. Like I ain't gonna lie, I thought I was solo, and then you came on, and I was like, oh yeah, man, I'm good. I got my wing man. I got him to have my back at all times. So I appreciate you too, bro. Yeah, we gonna close it out here. And like I said, thank y'all, and just drop that feedback in the chat, and let's do this again next week.
Yes, sir. Peace out, everybody. Appreciate you, bro.